The wisdom of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 20. There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holds his tongue, and he is wise. And it is much better to reprove than to be angrily secretly. And he that confesses his fault shall be preserved from hurt. How good is it when you are reproved, to show repentance, teshuvah, for so shall you escape wilful sin. As is the lust of the eunuch to deflower a virgin, so is he that executes judgment with violence. There is one that keeps silence, and is found wise, and another by much babbling becomes hateful. Some man holds his tongue because has not to answer, and some keep silent knowing his time. A wise man will hold his tongue till he sees opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. He that uses many words shall be abhorred, and he that takes to himself authority therein shall be hated. There is a sinner that has good success in evil things, and there is a gain that turns to loss. There is a gift that shall not profit you, and there is a gift whose recompense is double. There is an abasement because of glory, and there is that lifts up his head from a low estate. There is that buys much for a little, and repays it sevenfold. A wise man by his words makes him beloved, but the graces of fools shall be poured out. The gift of a fool shall do you no good when you have it, neither yet of the envious for his necessities, for he looks to receive many things for one. He gives little and upbraids much. He opens his mouth like a courier. Today he lends, and tomorrow he asks it again. Such one is to be hated of Elohim and man. The fool says, I have no friends. I have no thank for all my good deeds. And they that eat my bread speak evil of me. How oft and of how many shall he be laughed to scorn? For he knows not aright what it is to have, and it is all one unto him as if he had it not. To slip upon a pavement is better to slip with the tongue. So the fall of the wicked shall come speedily. An unseasonable tale will always be in the mouth of the unwise. A wise sentence shall be rejected when it comes out of the fool's mouth, for he will not speak it in due season. There is one that is hindered from sinning through want, and when he takes rest, he shall not be troubled. There is one that destroys his own soul through bashfulness, and by accepting a person's overthrow him. There is one that for bashfulness promises to his friends to make him his enemy for nothing. A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet it is continually in the mouth of the upright. A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie, but they shall both have destruction to heritage. The disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him. A wise man shall promote himself to honor with his words, and he that has understanding will please great men. He that tills his land shall increase his heap, and he that pleases great men shall get pardon for iniquity. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove. Wisdom that is hid, and treasure that is hoarded up, what profit is it in both of them? Better is he that hides his folly than a man that hides his wisdom. Necessary patience in seeking Yud-He-Vav-He, Yahweh, is better than he that leads his life without a guide. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 21. My son, have you sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for your former sins. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if you come too near it, it will bite you. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All iniquity is as a two-edged sword. The wounds thereof cannot be healed. To terrify and do wrong will waste riches. Thus the house of proud men shall be made desolate. A prayer out of a poor man's mouth reaches to the ears of Elohim, and his judgment comes speedily. He that hates to be reproved is in the way of sinners, but he that fears Yahweh will repent from his heart. An eloquent man is known far and near, but a man of understanding knows when he slips. He that builds his house with other man's money is like one that gathers himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The assembly of the wicked is like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame to the fire to destroy them. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of Sheol. He that keeps the Torah of Yahweh gets the understanding thereof. And the perfection of the fear of Yahweh is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiplies bitterness. The knowledge of a man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. The inner part of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he lives. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it, and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding hears it, it displeases him, and he casts it behind his back. The talking of a fool is like a burden in the way, but Hanan, grace shall be found in the lips of the wise. They inquire at the mouth of the wise man in the assembly, and they shall ponder his words in their heart. As is a house that is destroyed, so is the wisdom of a fool, and the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet, and like manacles on the right hand. A fool lifts up his voice with laughter, but a wise man scarcely smiles a little. Learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold, and like a bracelet upon his right arm. A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a wise man of experience is ashamed of him. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. It is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with the disgrace. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart. When the wicked curses Satan, he curses his own soul. A whisperer defiles his own soul, and is hated wheresoever he dwells. Sirach, Scroll of Wisdom, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 22. A slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and does everyone will hiss at him out of his disgrace. A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill. Every man that takes it up will shake his hand. An evil-nurtured man is the dishonor of his father that begat him, and a foolish daughter is born to his loss. A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her man, but she that lives dishonestly is her father's heaviness. She that is bold dishonors both her father and her mother, but they both shall despise her. A tale out of season is as music in mourning, but stripes and correction of wisdom are never out of time. Whoso teaches a fool is as one that glues a potsherd together, and as he that wakens one from a sound sleep. He that tells a tale to a fool speaks to one in a slumber. When he has told his tale, he will say, What is the matter? The children live honestly, and have wherewithal that they shall cover the baseness of their parents. But children being haughty, through disdain and want of nurture, do stain the nobility of their kindred. Weep for the dead, for he has lost the light. And weep for the fool, for he wants understanding. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest. But the life of the fool is worse than death. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but a fool and a wicked man all the days of his life. Talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that has no understanding. Beware of him, lest you have trouble, and you shall never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and you shall find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. What is heavier than lead, and what is the name thereof but a fool? Sand and salt and a mass of iron is easier to lift and bear than a man without understanding. As timber girt and bound together in a building cannot be loosed with shaking, so the heart that is established by advised counsel shall fear at no time. A heart settled upon a thought of understanding is as a fair plastering on the wall of a gallery. Pails set on a high place will never stand against the wind, so a fearful heart in the imagination of a fool cannot stand against any fear. He that pricks the eye will make tears to fall, and he that pricks the heart makes it to show her knowledge. Whoso casts a stone at the birds, fray them away, and he that upbraids his friend breaks friendships. Though you draw a sword at your friend, yet despair not, for there may be a returning to favor. If you have opened your mouth against your friend, fear not, for there may be a reconciliation, except for upbraiding or pride or disclosing of secrets or a treacherous wound. For these things every friend will depart. Be faithful to your neighbor in his property, that you may rejoice in his property. Abide steadfast unto him in the time of his trouble, that you may be heir with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to be condemned, nor the rich that is foolish is to be had in admiration. As the vapor and smoke of a furnace goes before the fire, so reveling before blood. I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him. And if any evil happens unto me by him, everyone that hears it will beware of him. Who shall set a watch before my mouth, and a seal of wisdom upon my lips, that I fall not suddenly by them, and that my tongue destroy me not? Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 23. O Yahweh, Father and Governor of all my whole life, leave me not to their counsel, and let me not fall by them. Who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over my heart, that they spare me not for my ignorances, and it pass not by my sins, lest my ignorances increase and my sin abound to my destruction, and I fall before my adversaries, and my enemy rejoice over me, whose hope is far from your mercy. O Yudhevav, O Yahweh, Father, Elohim, and my life, Kai, give me not a proud look, but turn away from your servants always a haughty mind. Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscences, and you shall hold him up that is desirous always to serve him. Let not the greediness of the belly nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me your servant into an impudent mind. Shema, hear, O ye children, and discipline the mouth. He that keeps it shall never be taken in his lips. The sinner shall be left in his foolishness. Both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. Accustom not your mouth to swearing, neither use yourself to the naming of the Kodesh One. For as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark, so he that swears and names Elohim continually shall not be faultless. A man that uses such swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sins shall be upon him, and if he acknowledges not his sin, he makes a double offense. And if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent. but his house shall be full of calamities. There is a word that is clothed about with death. Elohim grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob, for all such things shall be far from the righteous, and they shall not wallow in their sins. Use not your mouth to intemperate swearing, for therein is the word of sin. Remember your father and your mother when you sit among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so by your custom become a fool, and wish that you had not been born, and curse the day of your nativity. The man that is accustomed to abhorribness words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he has kindled a fire. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. A man that breaks wedlock says thus in his heart, who sees me? I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody sees me. That I need, what need I to fear? El Elyon will not remember my sins. Such a man only fears the eyes of men, and knows not that the eyes of Yahweh are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. This man shall be punished in the street of the city, and where he suspects not he shall be taken. Thus shall it go also with the woman that leaves her man, and brings in an heir by another. For first she has disobeyed the Torah of El Elyon, and secondly she has transgressed against her own man, and thirdly she has played the whore in breaking wedlock, and brought children by another man. She shall be brought out into the assembly, and inquisition shall be made of her children. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall bring forth no fruit. She shall leave her memory to be cursed, and her reproach shall not be blotted out. And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than to fear the fear of Yahweh, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of Yahweh. It is great glory to follow Yahweh, and to be received of him is strong, long life. Wisdom of Sirach 24. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the assembly of El Elyon shall she open her mouth, and triumph before his power. I came out of the mouth of El Elyon, and covered the earth as a cloud. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven, and walked in the bottom of the deep, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation I got possession. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my sukkah, my tabernacle, to rest, and said, Let your dwelling be in Yaakov, and your inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. In the Kodesh tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Likewise, in the beloved city he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power, and I took root in an honorable people. Even in the portion of Yahweh's inheritance, I was exalted like a cedar in Lebanon, and as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon. I was exalted like a palm tree in En-gedi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in the pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water. I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon and asphaltathus, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh and galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle, as the turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and grace, Hanan. As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love and fear and knowledge, and Kodesh hope. I, therefore, being eternal, am giving to all my children which are named of him. Come unto me, all ye that desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and my inheritance than the honeycomb. They shall eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. He that obeys me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not do amiss. All these things are the sefer of the covenant of El Elyon, even the Torah, which Moshe commanded for a heritage unto the assembly of Yaakov. Faint not to be strong in Yahweh, that he may confirm you, cleave unto him. Yahweh Tezavot Elohim Echad. He is alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. He fills all things with his wisdom, as Pishon and Chickadel in the time of the new fruits. He makes the understanding to abound like Perath, as the Yarden in the time of the harvest. He makes the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as Gishon in the time of vintage. The first man knew her not perfectly, no more shall the last find her out. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. I also come out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden, I said, I will water my very best garden, and will water abundantly my garden bed. And lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. Sirach 25. In 3 things I was beautified, and stood up beautiful both before Elohim and men: the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a woman that agree together. 3 sorts of men my soul hates, and I am greatly offended at their life: a poor man that is proud, a rich man that is a liar, and an old man that breaks wedlock, that dotes. If you have gathered nothing in your youth, how can you find anything in your age? Oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. Oh, comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of Elohim is their glory. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue: a man that has joy of his children, and he that lives to see the fall of his enemy. Well is him that dwells with a woman of understanding, and has not slipped with his tongue, and that has not served a man more unworthy than himself. Well is him that has found prudence, and he that speaks in the ears of them that will hear. Oh, how great is he that finds wisdom, Chachma! Yet is there none above him that fears Yahweh. But the love of Yahweh passes all things for illumination. He that holds it, whereto shall he be likened? The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of his love, and faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and any affliction but the affliction of them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. The wickedness of a woman changes her face, and darkens her countenance like sackcloth. Her man shall sit among his neighbors, and when he hears it, shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of the sinner fall upon her. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a woman full of words to a quiet man. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. A woman if she maintained her man, is full of anger, impotence, and much reproach. A wicked woman abates the courage, makes a heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her man in distress makes weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to go abroad. If she go not as you would have her, cut her off from your flesh, and give her a sefer of divorce, and let her go. Sefer of Sirach 26. Blessed is the man that has a virtuous woman, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoices her man, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in shalom, peace. A good woman is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear Yahweh. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward Yahweh, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There be 3 things that my heart fears, and for the 4th I was sore afraid. The slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicates with all. An evil woman is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that has hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. A drunken woman and a gadder abroad cause great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. If your daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she transgression against you. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he has found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. And the grace of a woman delights her man, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A silent and loving woman is a gift of Yahweh, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her contentment mind cannot be valued. As the sun, when it arises in the high heavens, so is the beauty of a good woman in the ordering of her house. As the clear light is upon the Kodesh menorah, so is the beauty of the face in ripe age. As the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver, so are the fair feet with a constant heart. My son, keep the flower of your age sound, and give not your strength to strangers. When you have gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with your own seed, trusting in the goodness of your stock. So your race with you will leave shall be magnified, having the confidence of the good decent. A harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her man. A wicked woman is given to a portion to a wicked man, but a tzedak, righteous woman, is given to him that fears Yahweh. A dishonest woman contemns shame, but an honest woman will revelance in her man. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear Yahweh. A woman that honors her man shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonors him in her pride shall be counted wicked of all. A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third makes me angry. A man of war that suffers poverty, and man of understanding that are not set by, and one that returns from righteousness to sin. Yahweh prepares such one for the sword. A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong, and a huckster shall not be freed from sin. Sirach 27. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeks for abundance will turn his eyes away. As a nail sticks fast between the joinings of the stones, so does sin stick close behind buying and selling. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of Yahweh, his house shall soon be overthrown. As when one sifts with a sieve, and refuse remains, so the filth of a man in his talk. The furnace proves the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning. The fruit declares if the tree have been dressed, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. Praise no man before you hear him speak, for this is the trial of men. If you follow righteousness, you shall obtain her, and put her on as a glorious long robe. The birds will resort unto their like, so will truth return unto them that practice in her. As the lion lies in wait for the prey, so sin for them that work iniquity. The discourse of a tzedak man, righteous man, is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon. If you be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. The discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is the wantonness of sin. The talk of him that swears much makes the hair stand upright, and their brawls make one stop his ears. The strife of the proud is bloodshedding, and their revilings are grievous to the ear. Whoso discovers secrets loves his credit, and shall never find friends to his mind. Love your friends, and be faithful unto him. But if you betray his secrets, follow no more after him. For as a man has destroyed his enemy, so have you lost the love of your neighbor. as one that lets a bird go out of his hand, so have you let your neighbor go, and shall not get him again. Follow after him no more, for he is too far off. He is as a roe escaped out of the snare. As for a wound, it may be bound up, and after reviling there may be reconcilement. But he that betrays secrets is without hope. He that winks with the eye works evil, and he that knows him will depart from him. And when you are present, he will speak sweetly, and will admire your words, but at the last he will writhe his mouth and slander your sayings. I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for Yahweh will hate him. Whoso casts a stone on high casts it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make wounds. Whoso digs a pit shall fall therein, and he that sets a trap shall be taken therein. He that works mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it comes. Mockery and reproach are from the proud, but vengeance as a lion shall lie in wait for them. They that rejoice at the fall of the righteous shall be taken in the snare, and anguish shall consume them before they die. Malice and wrath, even these are abominations, and the sinful man shall have them both. Wisdom of Sirach 28. He that revenges shall find vengeance from Yahweh, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. Forgive your neighbor the hurt that he has done unto you, so shall your sins also be forgiven when you pray. One man bears hatred against another, and he seeks pardon from Yahweh. He shows no mercy to a man which is like himself, and he asks forgiveness of his own sin. If he that is but flesh nourished hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sin? Remember your end, and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death, and abide in the commandments, the mitzvot. Remember the commandments, and bear no malice to your neighbor. Remember the covenant of El Elyon, and wink at ignorance. Abstain from strife, and you shall diminish your sins. For a furious man will kindle strife. A sinful man disquiets friends, and makes debates among them that be at peace. As the matter of the fire is, so it burns, and as a man's strength is, so is his wrath. And according to his riches his anger rises. And the stronger they are which contend, the more they will be inflamed. A hasty contention kindles a fire, and a hasty fighting sheds blood. If you blow the spark, it shall burn. If you spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of your mouth. Curse and whisper and double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. A backbiting tongue has disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities has it pulled down, and overthrown the house of great men. A backbiting tongue has cast out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labors. Whoso hearkens unto it shall never find rest, and never dwell quietly. The stroke of the whip makes marks in the flesh, but the strokes of the tongue breaks the bones. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Well is he that is defended through the venom thereof, who has not drawn the yoke thereof, nor has been bound in her bands. For the yoke thereof is a yoke of iron, and the bands thereof are bands of brass. The death thereof is an evil death. Sheol, the grave, where better than it. It shall not have rule over them that fear Elohim, neither shall they be burned with the flame thereof. Such as forsake Yahweh shall fall into it, and it shall burn in them, and not be quenched. It shall be sent upon them as a lion, and devour them as a leopard. Look, that you hedge your possession about with thorns, and bind up your silver and gold, and weigh your words in a balance, and make a door and bar for your mouth. Beware you slide not by it, lest you fall before him that lies in wait. Sirach, the Sefer of Wisdom, 29. He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengthens his hand keeps the commandments. Lend to your neighbor in time of his need, and pay your neighbor again in due season. Keep your word, and deal faithfully with him, and you shall always find the thing that is necessary for you. Many, when a thing was lent them, reckoned it to be found, and put them to trouble that helped them. Till he has received, he will kiss a man's hand, and for his neighbor's money he will speak submissively. But when he should repay, he will prolong the time, and return word of grief, and complain of the time. If he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half, and he will count as if he had found it. If not, he has deprived him of his money, and he has gotten him an enemy without cause. He pays him with cursing and railings, and for honor he will pay him disgrace. Many, therefore, have refused to lend the other men's ill dealings, fearing to be defrauded. Yet have you patience with a man in poor estate, and delay not to show him mercy. Help the poor for the commandment's sake, and turn him not away because of his poverty. Lose your money for your brother and your friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost. Lay up your treasure according to the commandments of El Elyon, and it shall bring you more profit than gold. Shut up alms in your storehouses, and it shall deliver you from all affliction. It shall fight for you against your enemies better than a mighty shield and a strong spear. An honest man is surety for his neighbor, but he that is impudent will forsake him. Forget not the friendship of your surety, for he has given his life for you. A sinner will therefore overthrow the good estate of his surety, and he that is of An unthankful mind will leave him in danger that delivered him. Suretship has an undone many a good estate, and shaken them as a wave of the sea. Mighty men has it driven from their houses, so that they wandered among the strange nations. A wicked man transgressing the commandments of Yahweh shall fall into suretship, and he that undertakes and follows other men's businesses for gain shall fall into suits. Help your neighbor according to your power, and beware that you yourself fall not into the same. The chief thing for life is water, and bread, and clothing, and a house to cover shame. Better is the life of a poor man in the mint cottage than delicate fare in another man's house. Be it little or much, hold you contented that you hear not the reproach of your house. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house, for where you are a stranger, you dare not open your mouth. You shall entertain and feast and have no thanks. Moreover, you shall hear bitter words. Come, you stranger, and furnish a table, and feed me of that you have ready. Give place, you stranger, to an honorable man, my brother, comes to be lodged, and I have need of my house. These things are grievous to a man of understanding, the unbraiding of house room and reproaching of the lender.